The Mumbai slum was alive with the sounds of life. Children played amongst the makeshift homes. Mothers cooked over open fires. But Nanbi saw something different. She saw a challenge. The slum had no electricity, plunging it into darkness each night. Nanbi dreamed of changing that. Nanbi was different from the other children. She loved to take things apart, to see how they worked. Old radios, discarded toys, anything she could get her hands on. She knew that somewhere in the piles of trash that surrounded her, there was a solution. Nanbi believed that even the poorest places could have a brighter future. One day, while walking past a clogged drain, Nanbi saw an opportunity. Wastewater flowed freely, a powerful force going to waste. An idea sparked in her mind. Could she harness this energy to bring light to her community? Nanbi knew she had to try. Nanbi shared her idea with her friends. She had always been a dreamer, her mind constantly buzzing with innovative thoughts and creative solutions. This time, she believed she had stumbled upon something truly special, something that could make a real difference in their lives. They were skeptical at first, but her enthusiasm was contagious. Her friends, though initially doubtful, couldn't help but be drawn in by her passion and determination. They began to see the potential in her idea, the possibility of creating something meaningful from the scraps and discarded items around them. Soon they were all scavenging for materials, their laughter echoing through the narrow alleyways. The hunt for usable items became an adventure, a quest that brought them closer together. Each discovery, no matter how small, was celebrated with joy and excitement. Under the watchful eyes of curious neighbors, they gathered discarded pipes, old wires, and any other materials they could find. The neighborhood, usually indifferent to the children's activities, began to take notice. Some neighbors even started to offer their own bits of scrap, intrigued by the children's unwavering commitment. They even found a broken water wheel, a relic of a bygone era. To the children, it was a treasure, a piece of the puzzle that could bring their vision to life. They saw potential where others saw only junk. Their creation was a testament to their ingenuity, a patchwork of hope held together by dreams. Each piece they added was a step closer to realizing Nanbi's vision. The project became a symbol of their collective effort, a beacon of what could be achieved through collaboration and perseverance. Day and night, they worked tirelessly, their hands calloused, their spirits high. The long hours and hard work only strengthened their resolve. They were driven by a shared belief in the possibility of change, in the power of their combined efforts. But their progress was met with resistance. Challenges arose, testing their determination. The path to success was fraught with obstacles, each one a reminder of the harsh realities they faced. Older boys, threatened by their ambition, mocked their efforts. They saw the children's project as a threat to the status quo, a challenge to their own sense of superiority. The ridicule was harsh, but it only fueled the children's determination to prove them wrong. The slum landlord, fearing disruption, demanded they stop. He saw the children's activities as a nuisance, a potential source of trouble. His threats were intimidating, but the children stood their ground, unwilling to abandon their dream. Their creation, once a symbol of hope, was dismantled, their dreams seemingly shattered. The destruction was a devastating blow, a harsh reminder of the fragility of their aspirations. The children watched in despair as their hard work was undone. Disheartened but not defeated, Nanbi refused to give up. Her spirit remained unbroken, her resolve stronger than ever. She knew that giving up was not an option, that the dream they had built together was worth fighting for. She knew her idea had merit. The setbacks they faced did not diminish the value of their vision. Nanbi believed in the potential of their project, in the possibility of creating something meaningful, despite the challenges. The experience, though painful, taught her a valuable lesson. She learned about resilience, about the importance of perseverance in the face of adversity. The journey had made her stronger, more determined to succeed. She needed to find a way to learn and grow beyond the confines of the slum. Nanbi realized that to truly bring her vision to life, she needed to seek out new opportunities, to expand her horizons and gain new knowledge. She needed a new perspective. The challenges they faced had opened her eyes to the broader world, to the possibilities that lay beyond their immediate surroundings. With renewed determination, Nanbi set her sights on the future, ready to pursue her dreams with unwavering resolve. One night, under the cover of darkness, Nanbi made a decision. It wasn't an easy one, but it was necessary. She had been contemplating this moment for weeks, maybe even months. The weight of her circumstances had become unbearable, and the only way out was to leave everything behind. The room was dimly lit, casting long shadows on the walls, mirroring the uncertainty that loomed over her future. She took a deep breath, knowing that this was the moment that would change her life forever. She packed a small bag with her meager belongings and a notebook filled with her ideas. Each item she placed in the bag held a memory, a piece of her past that she couldn't completely let go of. The notebook was her most prized possession, filled with dreams and plans for a better future. It was a symbol of hope, a reminder that she had the power to change her destiny. As she zipped up the bag, she felt a mix of fear and excitement. This was the beginning of a new chapter, one that she would write with her own hands. With a heavy heart and a flicker of hope, she slipped away. The night was quiet, the only sound being the soft rustle of leaves in the wind. She moved silently, not wanting to wake anyone. Each step she took was a step away from her old life, a life filled with hardship and pain. But it was also a step towards something new, something unknown. The darkness around her seemed to embrace her, offering a sense of protection as she ventured into the unknown. She didn't know where she was going, but she knew she couldn't stay. She knew she couldn't stay, but she also knew she couldn't give up. The thought of giving up had crossed her mind many times, but each time she pushed it away. She had come too far to turn back now. As she walked away, she looked back one last time. The place she had called home was now just a memory, a chapter that had come to an end. But with every ending comes a new beginning, and she was ready to embrace it. Her heart was heavy with sadness, but it was also filled with determination. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. She boarded a train, her destination unknown. The platform was nearly empty. The only other passengers were a few weary travelers. The train's whistle blew, signaling the start of her journey. She found a seat by the window, hoping to catch a glimpse of the world outside. As the train started moving, she felt a sense of relief. She was finally on her way, leaving behind the life she had known. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, she felt a glimmer of hope. She didn't know where the train would take her, but she was ready to find out. The rhythmic clatter of the wheels on the tracks was a lullaby, soothing her anxieties. Each turn of the wheels seemed to carry her further away from her past and closer to her future. She closed her eyes, letting the sound wash over her. It was a moment of peace, a brief respite from the chaos of her thoughts. She felt a sense of calm, knowing that she was on the right path. The journey ahead was long, but she was ready to face it. The sound of the train was a reminder that she was moving forward, one step at a time. As the train sped through the countryside, Nanbi watched in awe at the vastness of the world outside her slum. The fields stretched out as far as the eye could see, a sea of green and gold. It was a stark contrast to the cramped, dirty streets she had left behind. She felt a sense of wonder, realizing just how big the world was. There was so much to see, so much to experience. She had spent her whole life in a small corner of the world, but now she was ready to explore it all. The countryside was a symbol of freedom, a reminder that there was more to life than what she had known. She saw farmers tending their fields, families laughing together, and for the first time, she dared to imagine a different life for herself. The scenes outside the window were like a glimpse into a different world, a world where people lived in harmony with nature and each other. She imagined herself in that world, living a life of peace and happiness. It was a dream she had always had, but had never dared to believe could come true. But now, as she watched the world go by, she felt a sense of possibility. She could see herself in those fields, working hard but living a life of purpose and fulfillment. The world, she realized, was full of possibilities, both good and bad. There would be challenges ahead, obstacles to overcome, but there would also be opportunities, chances to grow and learn. She felt a sense of excitement, knowing that she had the power to shape her own destiny. The vast landscape outside the window was a reminder that the world was full of potential. She didn't know what the future held, but she was ready to face it. She was ready to take control of her life and make her dreams a reality. Fear and uncertainty gnawed at her, yet she pressed on, fueled by a stubborn belief in herself and her dream. She knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but she was ready to face it. She had come too far to turn back now. The fear was always there, lurking in the back of her mind, but she refused to let it control her. She was determined to succeed, no matter what it took. She had a dream, and she was willing to fight for it. The journey ahead was long and uncertain, but she was ready to face it with courage and determination. She knew that somewhere out there, she would find the knowledge and support she needed to make a difference. The world was full of possibilities, and she was ready to explore them all. She had a vision for her future, a dream that she was determined to make a reality. She knew that it wouldn't be easy, but she was ready to face the challenges ahead. She looked out the window, her heart filled with hope and determination. She was ready to take on the world, one step at a time. She knew that she had the power to make a difference, and she was ready to start her journey. Days blurred into nights. The passage of time marked only by the rhythmic clatter of the train wheels on the tracks. The world outside the window was a blur of changing landscapes, a tapestry of fleeting moments that seemed to stretch on endlessly. The train became Nanbi's world, a metal cocoon carrying her towards an uncertain future. Each station was a new chapter, each passenger a potential story. The countryside rolled by, a patchwork of fields and forests, towns and villages, all blending into one another as the train sped forward. She shared stories and scraps of food with fellow travelers, their kindness a beacon of hope in her solitary journey. The camaraderie of strangers, the shared laughter and the simple act of breaking bread together brought a sense of belonging that Nanbi had longed for. These fleeting connections, though brief, were a reminder of the goodness that still existed in the world. One encounter, however, would change her life forever. It was a moment that seemed ordinary at first, just another face in the crowd, but it held the promise of something extraordinary. In a crowded compartment, amidst the cacophony of human voices, Nanbi noticed an old man. He was seated by the window, his presence almost ethereal amidst the hustle and bustle. There was something about him that stood out, a quiet dignity that commanded attention. His eyes, though clouded with age, held a spark of wisdom that drew her in. They were eyes that had seen much, eyes that held stories of a lifetime. There was a depth to them, a sense of understanding that resonated with Nanbi's own experiences. He sat alone, his weathered hands clutching a worn book. The book seemed to be a part of him, an extension of his being, filled with the knowledge and experiences he had gathered over the years. It was a symbol of his journey, both literal and metaphorical. He reminded her of her grandfather, the one person in the slum who had always encouraged her curiosity. Her grandfather had been a beacon of light in her otherwise bleak existence, nurturing her inquisitive mind and instilling in her a love for learning. Gathering her courage, Nanbi approached the old man. Her heart pounded in her chest, a mix of excitement and apprehension. She had always been shy, hesitant to reach out, but something about this man made her feel that it was the right thing to do. He introduced himself as Arun, a retired engineer traveling the country, sharing his knowledge with anyone willing to listen. His voice was gentle, yet filled with a quiet strength. He spoke of his travels, the bridges he had built, both literal and figurative, and the lives he had touched along the way. Nanbi, drawn to his gentle demeanor and fascinated by his stories of bridges built and lives touched, found herself confiding in him. She felt an instant connection, a sense of trust that she had rarely felt before. His stories were not just about engineering feats, but about the human spirit, resilience, and the power of dreams. She told him about her dream, her struggles, and her flight from despair. She spoke of the challenges she had faced, the obstacles that had seemed insurmountable, and the hope that had kept her going. Arun listened intently, his eyes never leaving hers, offering words of wisdom and encouragement that reignited the spark of hope within her.